Welcome to Sleeping with Sarah. I'm Sarah Albritton, and this is my 10th episode. In my 10th episode, I interviewed Cecilia Laird. We got into it about dating and dreams and celebrities. She even brought a teddy bear. You can view that on the YouTube version of the podcast. Cecilia is a producer of Strip Joker and Wish You Were Beer. She also has a fun Tumblr about awful dating stories, tumblr.com/normaldating. You can follow her on Twitter at DoubleDare87. Let's get started with the show.
Sleeping with Sarah.
Welcome to Sleeping with Sarah. I'm Sarah Albritton, and I'm here with my friend Cece. Cece Laird.
What's
Laird.
up? Laird.
Laird.
It's okay.
How'd you sleep last night, Cece?
Oh my god, I slept so great. I just got my new prescription, and one of the effects is that it helps regulate your sleep. I slept for 13 hours.
13 hours? That's a lot. That's like me sleeping.
To be honest, I think my body needed it. I'd been working so much and just doing so much, so I think body was just like, I think it's time to just, wrap it up. So I did, and it was nice. It was perfect.
Yeah, sometimes I'll do that. I'll just like some afternoon I'll be like, yeah, I'm gonna take a nap and then go back out, and I just don't wake up till the next morning.
Oh, what's so funny is one time I slept so long. I got home from school, I took a nap, and my nap lasted so long that it was around like 7:15, I think, when I woke up, which during the season, it was right when twilight looked like dusk looked like dawn. Mm-hmm. And so I thought that I had slept all through the night and woken up the next day and missed my bus. I called my mom and I said, Mom, I'm so sorry. I missed the bus. I missed it. Oh, you're going to have to take me to work. I don't know how I'm going to get there. And she was like, Cece, it's still Wednesday.
That happens to me actually a lot. So what? I will wake up and freak out and see the clock and be like, oh my god, it's 8:30, I have to go to work. And it's 8:30 at night and I just took a nap. So I try to nap on the couch now so that I don't freak out about it.
Yeah, no.
Because I can see, it's dark or not.
It's a good move.
But I definitely do that pretty often. I will also wake up at 4 in the morning and think it's 4 in the afternoon until I realize, because it's pitch black in this room, so it's hard to tell.
See, I can't do a pitch black room. I specifically leave. Well, I have a tapestry that I tie up or let down depending on how much light I want in. But usually I tie it up so that I can the sun will help wake me up, because it's almost impossible for me to sleep in the light.
Yeah, so yeah, for me it doesn't matter, but I think the next apartment I get, I'll hopefully get some sunlight in my room, because I think that will help, when I crashed at my friend's in LA, she got so much sunlight, I was like, I got up at 7 a.m. I'm like, I'm gonna go hiking, I'm gonna go do shit. I mean, that lasted a couple days.
No, well, no, it definitely helps, especially during the spring and the summer, and that pressure. Get up, go out, do things, see outside, turn off Netflix.
Exactly. Summer is not the time for Netflix, guys.
Oh, I was so rude. I didn't introduce the other guest, Angel.
Angel?
Yeah, my little teddy bear here.
That's awesome. How old is Angel?
Angel is so old. I got him probably when I was 10 years old. I say him, but he's actually transgender. This is no shit.
Okay.
When I first got him, I couldn't decide if he was a boy or a girl, and my sister said, well, he could be both. So I said, okay. So at night, I would dress him in this little, it was almost like tutu pajamas. Mm-hmm. So he was a girl at night. But then the day he had overalls that he would wear. So
that's sweet.
So he was gender by clothing. That's how we indicated what gender he was feeling at the moment.
That could be an interesting future toy for kids to learn about acceptance for transgender.
Very true. And then of course it was years and years later that the transgender, I don't know if it's transgender, character on Rent is named Angel.
Oh, yes. Oh,
How funny is that?
That's such a good musical.
He's had some history. Well, and of course, if he's in a musical, we know what you are. So
you got him when you were 10. So do you still sleep with him?
I sleep with him when I'm feeling a little lonely. Mm-hmm. Sometimes my cat usually sleeps at the foot of my bed, but she won't let me and I just need to aggressively cuddle something sometimes. So I'll grab Angel if I'm feeling a little lonesome.
Do you warn guys, hey, like at night I have to aggressively cuddle? Like is that a thing? You're like, hey.
Oh yeah, no, there are signs like warning, will be cuddled aggressively, heavily.
So are you a big spoon or a little spoon?
You know, I'm a switch spoon.
Oh, you're a switch.
I'm a switcher because I don't usually sleep well. I like to start as little spoon, but if I move around in control and I find myself in a big spoon position, I'll take it 100% of the time.
Yeah. See, I like being little spoon. I don't know. I like, you know, maybe it's just because I tend to date taller guys.
Oh,
you
no,
know, like,
me too.
Guys that are like 6'2", 6 foot, you know, like usually over 6 foot. And like, just like, I guess I feel small in their arms. It feels, it's a weird feeling. I don't know why.
It does. It makes you feel cared for. It makes you feel, enveloped by someone, you know?
Exactly. And you know, like.
But guys like that too.
And the nice thing about the cuddling is it's easier if, like, hey, like, in the middle of the night, if I, like, wake up, I'm like, okay, let's, like, get things started again.
Are you kidding me?
It makes it so easy.
Spooning is, like pre-gaming for sex. Like, that's, like, pre-gaming for boning.
But sometimes I will do it where I will, like, start to do that in my sleep, and I won't even, like, realize it. It's like, oh, like, it's like my butt has a mind of its own. Just, like, kind of like, you know? And then it's like, okay. And then the next thing I know, it's like, I'm waking up, I'm like, oh, this is gonna happen in a few minutes.
That's some of the best, up until you realize you bit off more than you can chew and you're entirely too tired for what you started.
No,
you know what I mean?
No. See, that's one thing that wakes me up. Like, people are like, oh, like, well, you know, you'd probably be too tired in the morning. See, sex wakes me up. It energizes me, you know? And so, like, I mean, best way to wake a narcoleptic up in the morning is an orgasm, clearly, you know? Because, like, wakes you up for me. You know, for me, at least it does.
No, absolutely. No, there have been times where I'm like, I'm enjoying, like, the motion, the grinding, and then, like, okay, it's like, okay, cool, it's game time, and then I'm like, oh, but actually, I'm just, like, I don't want to be on top, and then they're like, I'm too tired, I don't want to be on top, and it's like, okay,
guys are so fucking lazy, like, they always want you to be on top.
I know.
But the reason I like to be on top is because, like, I know, no matter how, like, you know, I know that if I'm on top and he can last for at least 15 minutes, I can get to where I need to get.
Right,
you know?
exactly.
No matter the size or whatever, if he lets me be in control, I can do that. So usually when I first start with somebody, it's like, oh, I'm usually on top and in control, because then I'm like, okay, like I'll let you try at some point, but, like, let me do my thing.
Do you ever get, this is one of my favorite ways of being woken up, is the, like, 30-minute butt rub where it's just a constant motion
of the
butt cheek. No, them just massaging you. Them just, like, rubbing and just rubbing. They're like, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Oh, it's gonna
happen.
I love sex, so I will usually just go back and, like, just be like, all right, let's do this, you know, and then, like, wake up, like, some of my, like, one of my hookup buddies, like, every time he stays over, like, we'll probably hook up, like, 4 or 5 times in the night. Like, we don't sleep at all. Like, that's just the kind of person I am. Wow, this is getting a really sexual, really personal. Hi, Mom and Dad.
Well, you know, we are sleeping with Sarah, so
clearly.
No, I'm into it too, but sometimes I need to be a little coerced. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, for me, it's like, oh, like, for me, it's so easy to go back to sleep. So it's like, oh, if I want to have sex for 5 minutes, great, and then I can go back to sleep afterwards. It's like, oh, you
Indeed.
know, like, that's the kind of thing. I don't know. Do you have any weird sex dreams?
Sex dreams. I don't usually have sex dreams. I think because I have sex so frequently, which is it's true. I hate to say it. I hate to come out and say it that way. But
Cece's getting some. Hey.
What can I say? No, because I'm not trying to say anyone is repressed about it that has sex dreams. They're quite natural. But because it's a part of my everyday life, I don't think that my brain needs to process it outside. The dreams I usually have are about dreams that are about stuff that's repressed, stuff that I'm not confronting. You know what I mean? So sometimes I'll get, not nightmares, but, like, scary dreams, or I'll get dreams about, like, have you ever had a dream about winning the lottery? And then woken up and you're like, I don't have any more of that money. Because I'll get, like, stress dreams like that deal with money.
Oh, no, I don't have lottery dreams. My dreams are really weird because they're super realistic. So when I wake up, like, I sometimes think, like, I had I've had a couple that have been really terrifying where I felt like I thought I was in a car crash, or like my family was in a car crash or something, and I wake up and I'm like
had one of those.
terrified, and like I wake up like tears streaming down my face, like, you know, even though I know it's a dream, like after a couple minutes I'll be like, okay, that was a dream. I'll still like call my family and wake up and be like, look, I just had this dream. I want to make sure everybody is okay. I know that sounds crazy, but we had a neighbor growing up. I lived next to our neighbor, Howard Schnellenberger. He had a son that lived in Miami. He woke up in the middle of the night one night and he had this pain in his chest. And that same night, that son had gotten, it was either stabbed or shot like 2 inches from the heart. Like just like inch from the heart. He lived. He lived. But he lived. But the thing is, like, he woke up because of that. And I really do believe people have some kind of weird connection with dreams and things like that. Mm-hmm. So like, I feel like you can kind of feel what people are, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I had the only scary dream about my family I've had was all my aunts and uncles were traveling through wine country of all places.
Oh, here, we're all going to get drunk on wine.
Like in Ohio, too. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Clearly the roads are unsafe. And they all got in a car accident and they all died in the dream. And
no.
I was with my mom and my sister when we all heard about it together, and we were just like devastated. But then I woke up and I was like, oh, thank you, Allah, God, just all of them.
I know, like it's like one of the most thankful things, and you're like, oh gosh, you know, like I need to tell people more that I love them and that, you know,
like, oh, I didn't call a single one of them that day. I was just really happy they were alive.
You just checked their Facebook wall. Okay, they're alive.
Right, exactly. You guys are still kicking.
But you mentioned something about celebrity dreams.
Mm-hmm. Those are my most vivid dreams. The celebrity dreams are so interesting to me. People have dreams about celebrities. But usually I feel like they're like sexual. Like they dream that they like, you know, fuck George Clooney, or, you know, maybe they became as famous and were, you know, hanging out with Kate Winslet or something. I don't know. But for me, my celebrity dreams, first of all, I don't idolize celebrities at all. I never had a celebrity crush as a kid. I don't read celeb magazines. I don't look at celeb gossip. Or reality TV shows. So for me, celebrities are like a thing that aren't real. They're in my world because they have to be, but they're not a part of like something I'm interested in. So when I have a dream about them, I'm like, what? Why? Like how? So okay, I have 4.
Wow,
that really stick out, and 2 of them are brief, and 2 of them are pretty funny.
Have you ever told them on stage?
No, because they're just so wackadoo.
Wackadoo, I love that word. Wackadoo.
So wackadoo.
That's a Pav's word. She uses that word a lot.
I love it. Well, because it describes what it sounds like. So okay, I just got a Facebook memory reminder recently where I posted a status about a dream I'd had in which I was being roasted by Chicago comics, actually, because this was like a year ago. I don't remember who it was. I think it was at where Candela open mic used to be.
Okay. So this is in Logan Square.
Logan Square. It was a bunch of people I knew, but I didn't really trust, you know.
You're like, I don't trust you to, if I was going to pick people to roast me, it wouldn't be you guys.
Right. So like all the comedy scene. No, and they were really mean, and I cried, and Henry Winkler was there, and he was the roast master, and Henry Winkler was the roast master, and he was the meanest, and I said, Henry Winkler, you are supposed to be the kind of nicer one, like you're supposed to, you know, manage and make sure that it doesn't get out of hand, and he straight, I don't even remember what he said, but it was so poisonous. And I was like, Henry Winkler, you're so nice. Why are you being so mean? And so I punched him square in the nose.
That's awesome.
Punched him square in the nose, and that's all I remember about that dream. And I woke up crying because I don't know what they said to me to make my feelings hurt, but I'm sure it had everything to do with just being insecure and new in the comedy scene.
Aww.
So, yeah, whatever. That's why dreams exist.
I haven't had that. Most of the time when it's a celebrity dream, it's more like they're part of my life. Like I had a dream that I was like best friends with Kristen Shaw, and we decided to go work on a farm together, and we were like milking cows, and like it was just like a normal thing. But she was like in the dream, she was my best friend, and who wouldn't want to have Kristen Shaw as her best friend,
right?
Because she's awesome. But like it was just like we're just on a farm and we're like doing farm stuff together and laughing, and that's like all we. It wasn't
right.
It wasn't really that interesting. Like I didn't like get in a fight about it. We were just like, oh, this is our life, and I was like, oh, that would be a fun life to live.
No, yeah. See, that's always the thing, is that I'm always doing something with the celebrities, like something pretty regular, but not something you would do with that person necessarily. Like, okay, so the voice actor Billy West, if you're familiar with him, Billy West did the voice for Fry and Professor Farnsworth on Futurama, as well as Ren from Ren and Stimpy. So he's been around.
Oh, Ren.
Yeah, and so
was he in All Real Monsters too?
I think so. I do think so. He's been in so much. It's hard to find a show he wasn't in. He's one of the most
prominent voice
actors, right, in cartoons. So anyway, I'm in New York, and he's taking me out to show me the town, like take me under his wing, or like be a mentor of some kind. And I'm like, hell yeah, Billy West. So we go to this Thai restaurant that is as big as a warehouse and has threadbare carpet and thrift store chairs and love seats all throughout. No tables. So you'd get your Thai and you'd eat it, like holding it awkwardly on your lap, like trying to eat on this like gross, you don't know where it's been, like threadbare couch. And as we're eating, a man dressed as Batman came in, and I don't recall if I thought he was actually Batman or if it was a man dressed as Batman, but either way, someone shot him. Shot him multiple.
They shot Batman?
They shot Batman so many times.
Oh,
they shot him in the chest, and he was dying, and I remember thinking, I can save him. And so I tore off this beautiful piece of this like gown I was wearing, and I was making tourniquets, but I couldn't tourniquet enough of the wounds. So he died in my arms.
You were MacGyvering, like
I wanted to save Batman. I was like, we can't let Batman die. I'm like, Batman is like the symbol of justice. And when he died, I got up and I made a big speech about it. I was like, you're all responsible for killing justice. You all turned your heads away from this. You know, and people were just like, oh, and like just kept eating their Thai.
They kept eating?
So I was just like, okay, so that was a very strange dream. But some of the best ones are the ones where I feel like if I had done this with that celebrity, that's probably the exact interaction that would have happened.
Have you met any of these celebrities?
I haven't met any of these celebrities. And I have pretty poor luck when it comes to meeting celebrities. I feel like it's sort of like a crapshoot, but whether, like, my sister's met everyone. She's met Madonna, she met Cyndi Lauper, she met Prince. Like, she's met all these people. But I've never gotten to meet anyone famous. Well, Hannibal Buress, I guess, counts.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like I don't know, for me, well, because I used to work at Lakeshore, which is what Laugh Factory is now, so I met a lot, like, I did actually meet Kristen Shaw. I met a lot of people that were kind of up and coming at the time that are
awesome.
Way bigger now.
Yeah.
But, you know, I wasn't doing stand-up then. I was like, oh, yay, improv. I still like improv, but I don't do it anymore.
No, I think it's mostly because I'm either watching movies that they're in or something.
Yeah.
Like, I could probably tell you I watched Pineapple Express recently when I had the dream that Danny McBride wanted to convince me to sneak into Seth Rogen's apartment to play a practical joke. And what we were going to wear these tinfoil ant outfits. Like, we were going to dress as ants and scare him and pretend that we were like alien ants or something. And so, like, and I didn't want to do it, and he kept like trying to convince me, and he was, oh, come on, it'll be fun, it'll be so much fun, I'm Danny McBride. And I was just like, all right, like, your fucking greasy ass hairdo, it got me, let's do it.
It's the greasy ass hairdo that gets you.
It really was. So we like climb over this fence, and we like sneak it through a window. And we're there for like hours. Like, Seth Rogen doesn't show up. And I was like, come on, Danny. He's like, I'm sorry. I thought he'd be here. And I was just like, all right. And like, just as we're getting ready to leave, like, Seth shows up. And he is not even shocked by any of this. He's just like, very funny, Danny. Okay, like, I get it. You got me back, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, oh, man, I thought I got you. But then it was awkward meeting him. So he ended up, like, making tea and, like, serving us, like, tea and cookies. And then he and I sat down and we talked.
Seth Rogen served you cookies
Seth
and tea?
Rogen served me little tea, cookies, and tea. And then we talked about writing and feminism, especially in Hollywood. And I said, you know, I appreciate that in your movies there are usually more complex female characters. And he says, you know what? Every time I write a movie or I'm a part of writing a movie, I always make sure that I have, you know, X amount of women on staff so that their perspectives get heard too. And I was like, what, Seth Rogen? I love you. Like, I immediately had a crush on him the next day.
Question, Seth Rogen. Is that true?
Is that true, Seth? I
mean, like, clearly, like, this is a huge podcast. Everybody listened to it, so, like.
You made a lot of promises, and I just gotta know. You seem like the guy. You seem like the guy to do that, but.
Yeah, I think we should tweet at Seth Rogen and ask if he has an even number of.
I like that.
Yeah, we should. That. Yeah, I'll post it.
If he specifically enlists women on his writing staff for their perspective.
If not, like, it's one of those things where the dream could come to fruition, you know?
Please let this dream come to fruition. If not for him, for anyone else who wants to do that, because I highly encourage it.
I actually have a weird theory about deja vus. And I know this is probably not real, but I was like, how weird would it be if, like, every deja vu you have is something that could possibly, like, every dream you have is something that could possibly, feasibly happen in the future. And just the deja vus are the ones that actually happen.
Interesting concept.
Right? Is that a little weird?
Yeah,
it's just
like
mind-blowing. But, like, yeah, seriously, but what if every dream you had could be in some world, or if all these things, like, click together, if the butterflies flap their wings on the other side of the world and all that shit. Like, it could happen that this dream actually happens true, but the only ones that are deja vu feelings are the ones that actually happen.
Right, and that's why you're living it, and that's why it feels just like, oh, it's just reality, skip the beat. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. That's a weird philosophy I have on dreams. I don't know if it's true, but it's kind of fun to think about.
It is. Okay, so I'm saving the best for last.
Okay.
Do you want my favorite celebrity dream now?
Yes.
Okay.
Favorite celebrity dream.
Okay. This one.
And share your favorite celebrity dreams. Maybe we'll do that. Hashtag celebrity dreams.
I want to know what the celebrities are doing in your minds, because they do a bunch of crazy shit in mine. Okay. So this one's my favorite one to tell. My car breaks down. This is when I was still living in Cincinnati, Ohio. It was on a busy street, and my car breaks down on a hot summer day, and I'm like trying to get stuff together, but I'm like calling AAA, and like no one's helping me or whatever. And this beat up BMW drop top rolls up, like white, like an old school, like boxy 80s style BMW comes up, and this woman in huge sunglasses and a big sun hat and long black hair comes, and she says, you know, are you having trouble with your car? And I said, yeah, you know, but I'm getting it worked out. You know, I should be fine. She's like, well, you know, I'd love to help you, but, you know, I have some stuff to do. And I was like, okay, so do you want to help me or not? And she was just like, no, we'll get it fixed. Come in, jump in. So I get in, and she takes off her sunglasses, and she's like, so I'm Meg White. And I was like, oh, so you are. Yes, I see that now. You are, in fact, Meg White. Very cool, very cool. She's like, yeah, so I'd love to help you, but I have to take care of a few things. I have to go to the pharmacy. I have to go grocery shopping, blah, blah, blah. Sure, okay, Meg White, we'll do whatever you want. This is an adventure. Let's go. So we do those things. We run our errands. And then eventually she says, well, I have to stop at home. I said, okay. So we go in these like back woods, and there's this long, like mile-long gravel driveway. And she takes me up, and we come to this like ranch-style cabin house kind of thing. And she goes, okay, now you can come in, and you're welcome to come in, but I have to tell you Jack's in there. And it's okay if you want to meet him, but there's a few caveats. I said,
caveats.
Okay. She says, first, do not look Jack White into the eyes. Secondly, you are only allowed to speak to Jack White if he speaks to you first. I said, okay, well, I don't want to piss him off. Should I even come in? She said, no, it's fine. So I go in, and right there in the foyer, Jack White is on Meg's drum set, and he's going, bang, bang, see Meg, bang. It's so easy, Meg.
That's pretty funny.
And I was just like, this is unreal. And I'm like, that's happened. Like, that fight of theirs has actually happened. It has to have.
Yeah, that's funny.
So that, to me, I woke up right after that, and I was just like, I have no idea what this means. I don't know what this is supposed to tell me about my life. All I know is that Jack White's mad at Meg.
That's funny. That's so weird. Are you a big White Stripes fan?
I like them, but I'm not obsessed with them. Again, it's like, it's this weird out of nowhere thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really, yeah, I'm not really obsessed with celebrities either, too, you know. I mean, I think it's cool to see people that are doing well, you know, and like see them like, you know, in terms of comedian level, you know, see them live and see what they're working on. I think that's really cool. But I'm not like I would never like follow some, you know what I mean? Like, I think I learned to, like, hey, like if you're around them, try to play it cool, or you know what I mean?
I think celebrities and dreams probably are more symbols of maybe personality traits, or symbols of
an unattainable person, maybe, or
right.
like a, yeah. I think the one time I did have a celebrity freakout was when I was a kid. I was at a Fair Swartz in New York City, and I was a big bookworm, right? Mm-hmm. And Anne M. Martin, the writer of the Babysitter Club books, was there.
That's cute.
And I got her to like sign my thing, and I got a picture with her, and that was like the one time I freaked out and was so excited to meet her. Like, that's how much of a nerd I was as a kid.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And now I'm sure that book's pretty valuable now too.
I don't know where. I know that we got a picture. I still have the picture. I don't know where the sign thing is. I'm so responsible. She didn't even write all those books. She probably had ghostwriters. Now that I'm an adult, I'm like, how did she have time to write a book a year?
She was babysitting all the time.
She had like 150 of those books. There's no way she wrote them all.
There's no
Come
way.
on. But like, as a kid, you kind of dream that.
Can you imagine a team of writers that are like all like 17-year-old babysitters, like sitting together in a room and like coming up with these stories? Like,
oh my gosh.
Well, but what if he steals the remote and hides it or something like that?
Yeah, and they had to be such a weird level of innocence, you know? They're like, oh, we're gonna have what was it? One of the babysitters had like I think she had diabetes or something like that. They're like, oh, that was controversial, you know? And one of them got a boyfriend when she was 12. Oh no. Like, that's the kind of sheltered world I lived in growing up. But
one of them came out as a lesbian.
Oh no, I don't think they've even touched that yet. No,
but that would have been cool.
No, but they should.
Same.
But yeah. So do you ever like look up to see what your dreams mean, or?
I have before. I don't know. I think because, like, so I've told you my sister's a psychic.
No, I did not. I did not know that. Your sister's a psychic, like a legit psychic.
I mean, as legitimately as she says she is, which I can only take her at her word. You know, I trust her. She's my sister. I love her. So if she says she is to me.
Has she ever predicted lottery numbers?
No, she uses her powers for good. She's a good witch.
Well, you could, if you win money and you donate to charity, that's still good.
Nah, she mostly has like premonitions, but they're really vague and
Is it like a That's So Raven? Sorry, I know I'm like bringing it down to like the lowest level of.
I think it's more she realizes what the premonition meant after it happened, like after something happens. So she used to interpret my dreams for me, and because of that, I sort of have like a natural instinct as to what certain things mean. Like, well, and also as a literary person, you know, things in literature that are really strong symbols will stick out, and you can sort of pick up on those symbols. Like, if you have a dream and there's like, and you're really sick in the dream, okay, if you have a dream where like all of your teeth are falling out, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a common dream.
Yeah, that means that you're having a lot of shame and guilt, usually surrounding your own health, because your teeth are like the first thing people see about you. You can tell if someone's healthy by looking at their teeth. So if you're having a lot of like shame or if you feel ill inside, you know, then you might have a stress dream like that.
That's interesting. I used to have that dream a lot years ago when I was dating this guy. And I looked back and I used to think that because I hallucinate, so I used to think it's real. I used to think that I was like saving the teeth that kept falling out, like in a Ziploc bag.
Yeah.
And like I really thought that I was actually doing it. Like that sounds crazy. It sounds crazy saying it out loud like that. Like, but like I used to think that I was actually like, because I hallucinate. It's so real it's hard to explain, but when you're hallucinating, you think it's real.
You think it's absolutely
you think it's real.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, I just got this thing, and it just undid. And I used to think I kept it in the Ziploc bag, but then, you know, I was cleaning something out, and I found an empty Ziploc bag, and I thought, oh God, I remembered that. And I remembered that, and I was like, shit. Because in my head, I thought that that's what I was doing, because I was hallucinating. I sound crazy now, but I mean, like, that's just what, I mean... Everything's
reality
so real.
Is crazy. People are tripping literally all of the time, because reality is such a fluid thing. It's such a fragile thing that to have hallucinations is, I mean, it's a struggle.
I do it all the time. Like, I mean, if I take a nap, I can wake up and like still be in my dream for the first 10, 15. It takes me a while. Like my close friends will know, like, when I'm really tired, I'll start saying stuff that doesn't make sense, or I'm really forgetful too. So it's like it'll be like, oh, I already told you that. I was like, sometimes I completely don't remember, because when I get really tired, it's like a different reality kind of sets in, or I'll see stuff that isn't there, which is really, really interesting. When that's why, like, the whole, like, with guys and stuff, it's like, oh, when I wake up, I might say something really weird that doesn't make sense. I might say a different person's name. You just gotta be cool with that.
You just gotta roll with it.
Yeah.
I hallucinate with patterns. Like, patterns will give me uncontrollable, like, swirly vision.
What do you mean? Like, if you see a pattern before you go to bed?
Certain patterns. Like, driveway pebbles, if I focus on them. Or if I'm, like, zoning out naturally, and like, you know how you don't really see when you're zoning out? You're just sort of, like, in your head.
Yeah.
If that'll happen, but then I'll break out of it and realize that I've been staring at, like, swirly pebbles the whole time. Also, those bathroom tiles, the ones that are little octagons, they're black and white checkered tiles.
Yeah.
Those will they do this, like, weird spreading motion especially if I've been drinking, but not drinking heavily, but it's something about a focus in my brain that'll make me
sometimes
see with certain patterns. Sometimes
when I'm tired and I look at streetlights. That they'll dance a little bit when I'm really tired. I'm like, oh, I'm really tired. I need to go to bed. Yeah. You know? There's that. I don't know if there's any certain patterns. Usually it's just when I first wake up, or when I'm getting tired, you know? That's just kind of when I start to see weird shit. And then it's like, oh, sometimes it's just like a little thing. It's like, oh, okay, that thing's moving. That's cool, you know? But... I don't know. Other times it can be scary, but it's, I don't know. After, like, 15 minutes, I realize, like, what's really going on.
Yeah.
But it is I think the scarier thing is feeling like I don't know what's real and what's not.
Yeah. I think that's incredibly frightening.
But I think I've just been living with it for so long on a regular basis that I never really think about it that way. It's like, oh, that's just part of life. Like, I get back to reality in, like, 20, 30 minutes, you know? But the fact that I'm out of reality for that long is a little weird.
Yeah. Well, luckily for you, you can manage it. You seem to manage it pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, I do. Yeah, I mean, there's medicine that helps. There's just different things. It's just more about just accepting, like, yeah, this is a thing I do. How long have you been doing hallucinating and that kind of thing?
I took my first hallucigenic when I was probably 18 with my best friend, and it was probably one of the most magical experiences of my life. It was great. And I've done it on and off probably a handful of times since then. And I've only had one bad trip, which really, it made me get really, really depressed. I think it's because we were outside earlier, and I was with people I didn't really trust fully. You know, I was with my boyfriend and his friends, but I didn't really jive with them. And then we went inside and it got dark, and I think that's when things took a turn for worse. But because they say that people that have depression,
it helps. Like the psilocybin, right?
I've heard it the other way.
Oh.
Is that, I've heard that it can make you depressed. It can make you have depressing thoughts.
Oh, see, I read that some people actually don't, people that are depressed, if they take psilocybin because of the connections of the brain or whatever. This could be wrong. I've got a bad memory, but the psilocybin can actually help depression because it stays in your body for like 2 months, and you feel, if it's a good trip, you feel happy. You know.
Yeah.
But that could be wrong. We should look that up at some point and find out the real answer, guys.
Oh, let's do some experiments. Oh no.
Yeah, we're not scientists, guys. This is not a factual thing. We don't know, but I don't know. I've only done mushrooms once, and that was really fun. I had a good time. Yeah, it was a happy time. I enjoyed it. I just did with one other person that I really trust and was outside.
That's perfect.
And it was summer. It was beautiful.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
That's the recommended time to do it, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was only like last summer too, so it was super fun. Yeah. But yeah, it's like one of those things. I think all creative people should experience that. Like, it is kind of a weird, almost like spiritual experience, I think is the best word.
It's necessary to be around nature for me when you trip, because to me that's part of it. To me, if you're doing shrooms and you're not in nature, then you're not really experiencing what it's about, because it comes from nature. You know, it's a plant, and I feel like humans are made to connect with nature, and so this is one of the ways that we are able to do that.
Oh yeah, when I was tripping, I touched a leaf, and I felt what the leaf felt, and I was like,
"That's beautiful."
I was so happy, I was crying. I was like, I'm connecting with this plant, and I'm so happy about it. And it was just like, I know that's so trippy, but it's amazing. It's cool that you get to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know, but have you ever hallucinated outside of taking? Like, do you ever hallucinate like naturally?
Well, that's what I mean with the patterns.
That's what the patterns. Yeah.
But that only really started happening after the first time that I had done mushrooms, and I was talking to my cousin about it, and he's like, yeah man, it unlocks something in your brain, like legitimately unlocks something, and that you can't ever really like put back in. So, you know, people have been known to have, I guess, what they call flashbacks or whatever every once in a while. This doesn't really happen too much anymore, but occasionally it will.
I've heard of that. The thing is that I was hallucinating long before I tried mushrooms, you know. So like I was hallucinating when I was like 14, 15, when I didn't even know what that was. I was just like, oh, okay. My little, what was it? My little artist doll used to dance. Like, I would have an artist doll, one of those sketchy ones, you know, that you can move in different positions. That goes like, you know, and I would hallucinate. It was like on my dresser, and I would hallucinate that it was like doing a little dance for me in the mornings. Like, and things like that. And the little random, not, you know, like little tiny things. Yeah. But then I just, that's why I didn't take mushrooms for so long, was because I had lots of opportunities to do them in college and when I was abroad and all that, but like I just didn't do it because I was like kind of afraid. I was like, I don't know if I've been on the medicine I've been on long enough to know if I could manage it, if it would be okay, you know, and I've been on the same medicine for like 10 years, so I'm fine, you know.
Oh, that's
well,
nice.
Not quite 10 years, but you know, like more than 5, I'll say.
Yeah.
I have a really bad concept of time, so I can say like 10 years and I'm like, more like 6. But it's all weird.
I have poor memory too, but I feel like chronologically dates aren't necessarily important unless you make them important, which is a good thing. Or being on time, that's important, that's a good thing. But honestly, having an exact perfect memory, I prefer to remember the way I feel. You know, I prefer to remember the way that I was treated. I prefer to remember the way I accomplished something. As far as dates, times, that's only stuff you need to worry about for, like, business. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I really like that idea, that philosophy of just remembering how you feel about something. And
proximity. Like, it's good to know proximity. Like, I felt this way maybe in this season or in this month around this time, so you can connect that way. But as far as, you know, having it down to a science, you're gonna tire yourself out.
Yeah, no, that's a really good way to look at life. That's kind of cool. Like, I felt like if you feel at home in a place, you know, like, I don't know, I feel like Chicago's filled with so many, you know, transplants, you know, that don't live that haven't grown up in Chicago. So it's like finding certain places that make you feel like home, or certain communities, or, you know, everything. I think that's kind of a cool thing to have.
Yeah. And, you know, time is fluid, and our memory of time is not trusted. So anyone that thinks that they have a really solid grasp on their past is fooling themselves, in my opinion.
Also, I've heard that every time you remember something, you're adding, like, fiction to it. Because, like, you're, you know, and you're actually fictionalizing. If we actually went back to see how we actually lived that moment, it might not be so romanticized or so also negative, you know? Like, maybe that fight you had with your ex wasn't as big of a blow-up fight as you imagined it. You were just angry about that moment. And you're like, oh, yeah, like, we were at each other's throats. And it might not have been that bad.
Is that a buzzer?
Yes, that means it's starting to wrap up a little.
Alrighty.
I always ask a question for everybody. I usually ask, like, we talked about our dreams that you have at night. What are your dreams in terms of life? Hopes, dreams, goals?
That is interesting, because that is something that I have fought with for so long. Because as much passion as I have, I don't have enough focus to wrangle it in. So if I were to list some of my current dreams now, it would be to begin to cultivate a family, because unfortunately I fought it and fought it and fought it, but I really do. I do think I do want to have a partner and a child. I've come to terms with that. So that's a dream of mine to have. Another dream of mine would be to being paid to perform in whatever fashion that comes, whether it's stand-up or acting or voice acting, but being paid to be me, being paid to be the character that is Cece. That sounds pretty good. So that's a good dream. And having enough money that I can vacation every summer, or at least a reasonable amount. Those are my dreams.
Those are pretty good.
I feel like they're practical.
Those are.
They're practical.
Do you have any impractical dream that's just crazy out there?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. My impractical dream is when I retire, I want to have an exotic animal B&B. So, like, I want to have, like, a giant, like, Tudor-style mansion with, like, a servant's staircase and a landing and fucking stained glass windows. And none of that, like, plastic soap bullshit doily. Get that shit out of here. I want it to be, like, modern and funky and cool, and I want there to be wild animals that you can pet and interact with in and outside the house.
So, one of my mom's family friends growing up, they own an exotic animal farm in Southern Illinois.
Nice. Yes.
Where they have, like, wallabies and kangaroos and llamas and, you know, buffalo and, like, emu and that kind of thing. I don't know if emus,
I thought. Maybe not. Anyway. Yeah, no, I want to have, like, domesticated animals like skunks, the
skunks will do the cooking of breakfast for the viewer.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, is there's going to have to be a lot of regulations, a lot of discussions with the health board. But again, this is my wild dream, so.
Oh, that sounds fun.
So, because I feel like that'd be so much fun to go and stay at a place and also be surrounded by, like, just awesome exotic plant and animals.
That would be really cool. That's awesome. That sounds like a great dream.
Fingers crossed.
Cool. Well, thanks so much for doing the podcast.
Thanks for having me, Sarah.
Thanks. I usually end with us just, like, falling asleep.
Okay.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Thanks for listening to Sleeping with Sarah, where I slept with Cecilia Laird. Be sure to check out her Tumblr, tumblr.com/normaldating. I'm releasing a new podcast each week. Be sure to tune in to find out who I have in bed with me next. Thanks to Josh Bryant for the music. You can also follow me on Twitter @Sarah Albritton. Until next time, good night.
Sleeping with Sarah.